Alright, welcome back to another tropical weather update. And Cristobal is not a tropical depression, as you may or may not know. 35 miles per hour and 999 millibars. Still moving east-southeast at 3 miles per hour, according to the National Hurricane Center. So here's the latest message, and 999 millibars. But here are the places that got tropical storm winds, if you're interested in that. But it's currently well into Mexico by now. It's like around here. And it's expected to move back over water by Friday night or Friday afternoon. But I think that's going to be sooner because I'm going to show you guys later. But a new center of circulation has reformed around here. So it's quickly going to be moving back into water. But I'll just show you guys after that. Now, looking at the latest cone from the National Hurricane Center again, we did get a little bit shift to the west with this system, but they're now expecting a 60-mile-per-hour landfall because they're expecting it to intensify a little bit slower than originally expected. Now, us here last news, we're expecting a 75 to 80-mile-per-hour landfall, but we're just going to have to see if that does end up being true. But see, it's currently expected to stay inland for a little bit more time before really coming back out to land. But I do think that's going to be a little bit earlier as the center of circulation has reformed. But it's pretty interesting because it was never expected to go that far inland. So it really did the opposite that anyone expected at this point. So looking at tropical tidbits, there's still no recon going into the system. But here is the look at tropical depression Cristobal. So earlier, we saw that. Let me pause it. So earlier today, we started seeing that new little blow up of convection right here, right north, of that system, which is pretty interesting to say the least. We did have that large area of moisture, but that's just part of like the Central American gyre. But that was the overall system right here, which it was looking pretty broad at this point. But here, what happened? We did get some new convection really start to blow up all around the north side of the system, even connecting to that broad area uh, of moisture and convection. And then this is where people think we now have the new system. The new system actually reformed around here with that new area of convection. So we don't quite know for sure, but that center circulation down here completely died out. And we're now seeing that potential being the system now into here. And we're looking at now a potential tropical storm again, as this is potentially around 40 to 45 mile per hour winds. A couple of sources are now telling that this could be a tropical storm again. So this is probably potentially a tropical storm again at this point. But otherwise, that's just what I have to say with this. It's pretty far on land. Looking at the models, just straight north from now on, and then probably a landfall, again in that Louisiana area. But looking at the intensity guidelines, most are seeing tropical storm with one going to like 70 mile per hour winds at most. By this point, we're just gonna have to see if that does happen or not. But looking at my next weather page, in terms of wind shear, I know that some people have been like, hey, are we going to be getting a lot of wind shear now with this system? So here it's currently in favorable wind shear, 20 knots, which is a little bit favorable. Now, as it gets into the Gulf, the wind shear is going to be rather less favorable, but still 25, it's not 50 or 60. So it's still like fine conditions for hurricane development. Of course, it's not as low as like up here in those areas, but it's not as high as 80s or 50 that we're getting here. So it's still quite favorable conditions for that system to potentially develop. And even here, if we do look at that shear tendency, we do see that the shear is starting to drop exactly in the area for the path of the system. The shear is dropping really throughout the Atlantic, but here's the storm location. As you can see, the shear is dropping exactly where that system is going to be going through. So it should have rather favorable, moderately favorable conditions as it moves on. But here's the Boo's weather page, this is not saying too much, but I'm just showing some stuff. They're talking about more low pressure systems forming and stuff. But that's pretty much it. Here's like the path of the system. I think that's like the GFS. And then yeah, it shows it actually coming back into land. That's what I wanted to talk about. So if we look now at some of the foreskin models, this is a little bit of a longer video, but it's all right. So first, looking at the GFS model, we do see that system now hitting at the 993, 992. So maybe it was a 75 mile per hour, maybe like a 60 mile per hour, 65. But they're showing a okay favorable condition. And like I said, they're just showing it going due north by this point. Soon it's going to be starting to go exactly, like it's around here. It's just going to be going exactly north almost, with maybe a little like shift to the right at the end. But right now it's kind of unexpected. But see, we do see that system kind of move out, and then we do have that potential subtropical system out here though. But I'll talk about that a little bit later with this. And then I think also, I mean, I know this, and then we do have that second potential system that could be Dolly around the Florida area, but again, I will be talking about that later. Anyways, looking at some of the other models for this system, so looking at like the CMC model, for example, it is showing a 999 landfall, so a little bit weaker storm, much weaker storm than GFS is showing. So again, that 999 landfall, a little bit more to the east of the GFS. This is showing a Mississippi landfall, so much more to the east with this system. But I'm gonna be showing a little bit all the models. I conjuring a Cat 1 agreeing pretty closely with the GFS with that landfall right here. In the border, like really west Louisiana. So this is agreeing very closely with the GFS with this. Navjam, it's showing a 988, so also a Cat 1 landfall, probably a little bit, again, the east agreeing with those GFS models. So right now we're looking at very strong tropical storm to very weak Category 1 hurricane. Now, European model, it does show that 990 landfall. So it's showing a 990 landfall. So that's about, that's a weak, that's potentially a Cat 1 hurricane to very strong tropical storm. So again, that's really what we're going with right now, those 990, 980, so 990. So most models do seem to be agreeing with that at the moment. So most models, yeah, they do seem to be agreeing with a landfall here around here at around overall 990, which could be a 75 mile per hour to 60 mile per hour. Now, of course, anywhere in Louisiana should be on alert. Get your hurricane plan out because this could be a very major storm. Anywhere also in Mississippi, Alabama, and part of basically this entire coastline should be on alert for that system. Because keep in mind, it could still shift east or west a little bit. But this part of Texas is back in the cone, and then Mississippi and Alabama will probably be in the cone by tomorrow because it keeps shifting west and east every single day. That's your tropical weather outlook. I hope you did enjoy today. And if you want more update, do consider subscribe. It will help me out a lot to grow this channel, etc. And just consider subscribing for more content on this entire